Judy, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Hi,
So
thank you for having me.
nice to have you. So, Judy is going to talk about when numbness becomes protection, is what she's here to talk about. She stands for helping children who've gone quiet to be what? She believes that the detachment is not defiance, it's, I don't know, she didn't share with me, but she's here to share now. She is committed to guiding parents in meeting emotional numbness. Detachment doesn't mean a child has given up. She is here to show us what that is. So I'm excited to hear your talk, Judy. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. So, today, what I want to talk to everyone about is detachment. Some of our children are checked out, they're not broken, they're just checked out. We've talked a lot about behaviors today. I've heard it mentioned about shutdown, disconnection, despair, and dread, and all of those things are very real. And detachment is what all of those things can culminate to and what happens as a result of those things. Sometimes we do see kids fight, we see kids yell, we see kids saying, I don't want to, I hate this. We see lots of behaviors, but then sometimes we have kids that want to disappear. And so that's what I'm going to talk to you about today. What is detachment? Detachment is emotional numbing. It's a survival mechanism in response to stress, overwhelm, anxiety, fear. But it's important to know that even though it's there, it is not defiance. They're not being defiant. They are in a state where they don't know how to respond. So it is not defiance and it is not failure. I resonate with this term significantly because as a child, I was labeled shy. On the outside, I was the perfect kid. I was doing everything that I needed to do. I had everything together. But on the inside, I wanted to disappear. I didn't want anybody to notice me. So, this is a topic that really resonates for me. And it hurts me when I see children experiencing this because often no one's aware that they're experiencing this. We're all aware of the biological systems in our body, the circulatory, respiratory, and all that. But has anyone ever really explained, or are you aware and do you pay attention to on a regular basis the systems that make up our children emotionally and mentally? We have the nervous and protective, the sensory, memory, belief, relational. We have so many systems that make us up, and those systems need to be working together and they need to be aligned with one another. Because when those systems are all working together, they influence our energy, our feelings, our focus, our level of productivity, and our responses to things. When one or more of these systems listed here on the left are out of sync, our children go into dysregulation. And when they are dysregulated, they're not functioning at their maximum. That's when we're seeing the things that have been discussed today, the shutdown, disconnect, despair, dread, and detachment. So recognizing those dysregulations is very important because if we focus on those dysregulations and respond to them as behaviors, then we're not meeting the needs of the kids. So as parents, our job is to be aware of that. You may never have been aware of the systems that make up who our children are. But today and now you can move forward knowing better and doing better. So keep in mind that what we see as behavior is really system response, not conscious choices. It's not personal attacks against you, even though sometimes it might feel like it. So why focus on detachment? I know you've seen this iceberg a couple of other times today. Today, I want us to look at the iceberg metaphor as the top being behaviors. That's what we see coming out of our kids, be it shy or withdrawn, angry, misbehaving. We see the behaviors. We see unmotivation, not willing to get their things done, We see arguing, yelling, quiet, shy, withdrawn. But are we noticing what's below the surface? The causes, and those causes are what is resulting from our system responses. I told you that I was super, super shy when my system was in fawn. Fawn is people pleasing. I didn't worry about me being happy. I didn't worry about getting good grades. I didn't worry about anything but pleasing other people because I was terrified to get in trouble. I did get good grades. I did behave. I was the perfect child on the outside. But inside, I was just stressed. I just wanted people to be happy. Some of you may have children that we've mentioned some misbehaviors earlier in the day, and you may have children with those misbehaviors. And some of you may be thinking, my child's not misbehaving. That doesn't mean that your child's systems don't need attention. I wasn't misbehaving, but my systems desperately would have benefited from attention. I needed support that my parents didn't know how to give. So again, now we're going to know better, and now we can strive to do better. That's where they just don't know what to do. They don't respond. They might go into fight or flight. That's where we often are seeing the physical behaviors coming out of them. And then sometimes they go into this detachment that was mentioned earlier, I don't care. Really, it does. They do care, but they don't know how to handle the fact that they care and what to do with those feelings. So I was super shy. My son had the same dysregulations. He was detached. He had periods of detachment, but we responded to that detachment in completely different ways. So even if your child's not hyper, don't feel like, oh, everything's great. Sometimes when they are hyper, things are also in levels of detachment. So my son had ADHD, likely autism. I ended up stopping the testing because I decided whether he's autistic or not, what's it going to change? I've got to deal with him in the same way. So I didn't complete the testing on that. But he did have all of those unique needs. His behaviors were behaviors that pushed people away. For example, he was too much. He was too loud. The other kids irritated him. He didn't like it. He knew that they were irritated by him, but he was so dysregulated that he didn't know how to let those kids into his space. All he knew how to do was and just go all over on them and be too much. So he was physically detaching in a reactive detachment format to push people away before they had a chance to hurt or embarrass him, while I was emotionally detached, not letting people in because I didn't want them to hurt or embarrass or shame me. Same issue, same dysregulation, but it can be shown in different ways. And then I had a turning point. And this is the turning point I want to make you aware of. And that is when I decided to approach my son in a different way. When he was in pre-K, he was either 4 or 5 at that point in the year. I happened to work at the same school he was in, and I walked by on the line, and he was not getting in line. He could not be still, and his teacher could not get him still. So I just stopped and asked, what is it like in your brain when you can't be still in this line? If you had to draw me a picture, what would you draw? And this image here is what he described in his little 4-year-old sweet baby voice, and it broke my heart. He said, Mama, it feels like my brain is full of sticky notes and a fan is blowing them all over the place, and I can't turn off that fan. Think about that. Think of when you feel overwhelmed as an adult. That, oh my goodness, it just breaks my heart and I tear up just thinking about it. My baby was dealing with that in his mind. That little pre-K baby, he didn't know how to deal with that. All he knew was that we kept telling him do different. So from that day on, that's where the change happened. I changed how I talked to him. And blessedly, I'm in a school and I was surrounded by tons and tons of other children. And this impacted how I communicated with every child that I've come into contact since. We used that metaphor of his sticky notes, and bless his heart, he's 19 now, and we still refer to the sticky notes. It's a tool that helped him learn to start sorting those notes out in his mind, to turn away mentally from that fan. So the key is talk, talk. What can we do? Just because our child is dysregulated, just because they're having challenges, they're shy, withdrawn, overwhelmed, meltdowns, that doesn't mean we just accept it. It means that we need to approach them with a different strategy. We need to meet their behaviors with awareness, compassion, and curiosity. They don't know how to reach those parts of their minds. They don't know how to reason out all of the things that they're experiencing. So it's our job to teach them how to do that. If we think about the mind as soil, is the mind of your child depleted of what it needs? Is it dry and barren? Does it not have the things that your child's mindset needs to grow? We've all heard of a growth mindset. What if, and this was my mindset when I was young, I didn't have what I needed to grow until Joseph, my ADHD son, until we learned about how to work with his brain instead of trying to make his brain work for us. This is where he was as well. But when we start coming at them and we start fertilizing their mind soil, we start watering it and giving it the attention and the curiosity and the compassion that it needs to flourish, we see changes happening in their mood, in their awareness of their environment, in their relationships with us and friends, in how they treat and feel about themselves, in how well they are performing at school. I'm not saying that this is going to all of a sudden make your child get straight A's, but it can have a negative impact on your child's performance when their mind is only focusing about surviving and getting through the day. So we want to show them safety. I've heard safety mentioned multiple times today. We want to show them safety without judgment. And I don't mean physical safety. We want their soccer coaches to keep them safe. We want everything safe physically. What I'm referring to is the emotional and the mental safety that they need to flourish and to become their best selves, who they're meant to be. So, final thought, detachment is not your child giving up. It's your child's mind's way of saying, I've had too much, I need help. It is not giving up, it's a cry for help. And some of you may have areas of your own lives that you feel like you need help with. You're going through the motions. You're getting by to get by. That was my life. I was going by to get by. There was no meaning behind it. That's no way for us to live our lives. We don't like that. We do it because we have to do it because bills have to be paid. We don't always have options. But for our children, we can teach them that there are options, that they don't have to just get by to get by, that they can do it with support. We need to be present, not pressuring them, not telling them how to be, how to feel. Don't be sad. Don't be shy. Try it anyway, even though you're scared. We want to be with them with presence and connection. We want to approach them with curiosity. How do you feel about this? Describe it to me. If we just say, how was your day? They're going to say, good, or they're not going to say anything. They have to be pushed compassionately and supportively to share. So that's the kind of communication foundation we want to lay for our children.
You've given great analogies here, but there was Stacy who said how amazing is that the analogy that the little 4-year-old came up with, because that was beautiful. The sticky notes flying.
We were all floored. We could not believe that a little 4-year-old was able to do that, that he was able to be that introspective. I think sometimes we don't ask those kind of questions because we don't think the kids are able to answer, but they'll surprise you. They will really surprise you. So addressing these things and learning how to talk to your kids and how to reach your kids to help them move through shutdown, disconnection, despair, dread, detachment, and helping your kids to manage it on their own as well. Because it doesn't take just work with the kid, and it doesn't take just work with the parent. It takes a combination, and that's what Blocks to Flow coaching can do. So I would love to discuss this further with anyone that would be interested. The QR code here will take you to my email, which is intellicoachlsc@gmail.com. I want to offer that the first families that contact me, that I'll give you a free discovery package. And what that is, it is a culmination of multiple days where you'll end that time period with a complete learning and rhythm scan for your child to find out where they are emotionally and how are those emotions impacting learning and where are they in terms of learning. I'll have a map of your child's blocks to see where is the issue so that we can begin addressing that as soon as possible. And your child's going to get a customized plan to help them be productive, as well as a plan to help you be the best parent that I know you all want to be. So thank you very much for showing up today.
Yes. So you're saying that detachment doesn't mean a child has given up? Because that's what most parents feel like. They are pushing me away. They don't want me. When kids start doing that, you're saying that it's to show up with curiosity?
Show up with
Right?
curiosity. I never pushed my parents away. I was too scared to. I was too afraid to get in trouble. But I was detached. The kids oftentimes, they don't know why they're responding to you in a certain way. They just know that's their immediate response. That is their dysregulation talking. And all these dysregulations that have been discussed today, they lead to that detachment. And there's various ways they can be detached, as I discussed. It's not personal. It's not personal. I took my son's reactions to me personal for a long time. It's not personal, it's reactive.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to ask you a question. So what's then this disconnection and this detachment? How do they work together or against each other? How do they work?
Disconnection for me was, I was so afraid to engage because I was afraid I was going to do it wrong. Someone was going to laugh. Someone was going to, I don't know, even look at me funny. I think I would have probably freaked out. I disconnected from the world around me, but I was disconnected internally. I didn't allow myself to go into any situations where I was going to have an opportunity to feel worse than I already did. I disconnected from the world around me, and that was my detachment. I did not form friendships. I didn't form likes and dislikes. I just performed so I didn't get in trouble. My son's disconnection, that the hyperactivity, he disconnected just in the way his brain operated, which ended up resulting and adding to what became him detaching himself from other areas.
Absolutely.